Alright guys, we're in the home stretch. Final project 5C. We're going to look at the directions really quick and then we're going to walk through this. I'm going to create 12 artboards that are 6.5 by 8 inches in portrait. And we're going to make those all in one file. I think it's going to be easier if we do this all in one file. You don't have to mess around. So 4.5 inches, make sure your units are in inches, by 6. And we're going to hit create. 12 artboards, make sure you pick that. I'm going to bring up rulers, Command R, and then start dragging out my guides. I hold shift while I place my guides, and a couple of things happen whenever I do this first set of artboards here. Notice that my guides go all the way through my other artboards, which is nice. But something weird happens whenever you move on to the next row of artboards. Your rulers change. So if that happens, just hit undo and make sure you're at 1 inch. What happens is that your rulers change, and if they do, make sure that your artboard that you're putting guides on is the only artboard visible, and that will keep your rulers the same, and they won't switch around. So notice that I'm on my artboard. There are no other artboards visible on the top, and I'm just pulling that horizontal guide down to the bottom there at 1 inch margins. Notice that went all the way across the entire row, which is nice. And now I just have to pull across my column. See, watch my ruler change right there. So I'm going to undo and I'm going to try it again, but it switches again. So now I have to move over my artboard, and there it doesn't change. So just make sure if you run into that same issue that only the artboard that you're working on is right up to the edge of your ruler. It's really annoying. I think that's new. I've never dealt with that before. Usually you'd have to activate an artboard by clicking on it, and it wouldn't do that, but maybe I need to click something in preferences. But anyway, if you run into that, just make sure that the artboard you're working on is the only one that's up against your rulers. So there's all my guides. And we'll move on to the next step, but not before we save this out as 5C. Make sure that you save often. Students usually forget this and they lose a lot of work, so let's get this right. Alright guys, we'll see you in the next one.